Dear friends, today I'm going to tell you the story of a waitress whose life changed forever by a billionaire. But here's the twist. She didn't do it for money, fame, or power. She did it with a simple grilled cheese sandwich and a heart full of kindness. Sounds unbelievable, right? How could a struggling waitress, barely making ends meet, become the most trusted person in a billionaire's empire? And why did she risk everything to help a disabled little boy she didn't even know? But that's not all. What if I told you that this act of kindness would uncover a shocking corporate scandal, change the lives of thousands, and inspire a global movement? Stick around, because this story will make you believe in the power of small acts of kindness and how they can change the world. Before we dive in, if you're new here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this. Now, let's meet Emma Carter, the waitress who proved that kindness is the most powerful currency in the world. Rain streaked down the grimy windows of Maplewood Diner, a modest little place tucked between a pawn shop and a laundromat in downtown Chicago. Inside, the air smelled of sizzling bacon and burnt coffee. The comforting hum of chatter filled the space. Emma Carter wiped her hands on her faded apron, her chestnut hair slipping from its messy bun after a 12-hour shift. At 28, Emma was the kind of woman who wore exhaustion like a badge of honor. Her hazel eyes still sparkled with warmth, despite the endless grind of waitressing. She barely made enough to cover her rent in a cramped apartment 3 blocks away, but what little she earned in tips, she often gave away. $1 here for the old man shivering on the corner, a free coffee there for the single mom who came in after night shifts. It was just who she was. Emma had grown up poor, raised by a grandmother who taught her that kindness was the one currency that never ran out. She lived by that motto, even when it meant skipping her own meals or walking home in the rain because she'd given her last bus fare to someone else. Tonight, though, the diner was quieter than usual. The clock ticked toward 10 p.m., and only a few stragglers remained. A trucker nursing a beer, a college kid hunched over a laptop. Emma was wiping down the counter when something caught her eye outside. Through the rain-spattered glass, she saw a small figure huddled near the diner's entrance. A boy, no older than 8, sat in a wheelchair. His thin frame was wrapped in a threadbare jacket, his dark hair plastered to his forehead as he stared at the ground, hands fidgeting with a frayed blanket draped over his legs. Emma's heart clenched. Without a second thought, she grabbed a clean towel from behind the counter and hurried outside, the cold rain stinging her skin. "Hey, sweetie," she said softly, crouching beside him. "What are you doing out here all alone?" The boy looked up, his wide blue eyes shimmering with uncertainty. I'm waiting for someone," he mumbled, his voice barely audible over the patter of rain. Emma frowned, glancing around. The street was empty, no sign of a parent or guardian. "Well, you can't stay out here in this mess. Come inside with me, okay? It's warm, and I've got something special for you." The boy hesitated, then nodded shyly. Emma wheeled him into the diner, settling him at a booth near the radiator. "I'm Emma," she said with a grin, draping the towel over his shoulders. "What's your name?" "Liam," he replied, a small smile tugging at his lips as he warmed up. "Liam, huh? That's a strong name. Now how about some food? You like grilled cheese?" She didn't wait for an answer, already heading to the kitchen. Minutes later, she returned with a steaming plate, a golden grilled cheese sandwich and a mug of tomato soup, her go-to comfort meal. "This one's on me," she said, tucking a napkin into his lap. "Eat up, kiddo." Liam's eyes lit up as he took a bite, the cheese stretching in gooey strings. "This is the best thing I've ever had," he said gleefully. Emma laughed, sitting across from him, chatting about silly things, favorite colors, superheroes, anything to keep that smile on his face. For a moment, the world outside the diner faded away. What Emma didn't know was that someone was watching. Across the street, a sleek black Bentley idled in the shadows, its tinted windows reflecting the neon glow of the diner's sign. Inside, Daniel Hayes sat in silence, his sharp gray eyes fixed on the scene unfolding through the glass. At 42, Daniel was a titan of industry, CEO of Hayes Innovations, a multi-billion-dollar empire built on cutting-edge software and ruthless ambition. His tailored suit and silver cufflinks marked him as a man who belonged in boardrooms, not this gritty corner of Chicago. But tonight, he wasn't here for business. He was here for Liam. Daniel had parked the car a block away, intending to grab his son after a quick call with his overseas investors. Liam's nurse had quit unexpectedly that morning, leaving Daniel scrambling to juggle fatherhood and his empire. He'd told Liam to wait by the diner while he sorted out the mess, but he hadn't expected this. Through the rain, he saw Emma wheel Liam inside, saw her kneel beside him, saw the way his son's face lit up as she fed him. Daniel's chest tightened, a rare flicker of emotion breaking through his steely exterior. He pulled out his phone and dialed his assistant, Olivia. "Get down to Maplewood Diner now. No suit, no heels, just jeans and a hoodie. I need you here in 10 minutes. Olivia, ever efficient, didn't question him. "On my way, sir." Daniel leaned back, his mind racing. He'd spent years building walls around his company, his heart, his son. Liam's condition, a rare neuromuscular disorder, had turned Daniel into a man obsessed with control, hiring the best doctors, the best caregivers. But no amount of money could buy the kind of warmth he saw in that diner window. Who is this woman, and why does she care? Half an hour later, Olivia slipped into the diner, her blonde hair tucked under a faded cap. She spotted Liam instantly, still chatting with Emma, who was now pouring him a glass of milk. Olivia approached the booth, forcing a casual smile. "Hey, Liam. Time to go, bud. Your ride's waiting." Liam pouted, clutching his half-eaten sandwich. "Can't I finish first?" Emma glanced at Olivia, her instincts kicking in. "You know him?" she asked, her tone gentle but protective. Olivia nodded quickly. "Yeah, I'm his aunt. Just picking him up for his dad." Emma studied her for a moment, then smiled. "All right, sweetie. You take care, okay? Come back anytime." She handed Liam a napkin-wrapped cookie from the counter for the road. Liam beamed. "Thanks, Emma. You're the best." Olivia wheeled him out, her heart pounding as she crossed the street to the Bentley. Daniel stepped out. His imposing figure softened slightly as he knelt beside his son. "Hey, champ, did you have fun in there?" Liam nodded eagerly. "Emma's so nice, Dad. She gave me food for free and said it's because kindness doesn't cost anything. She didn't even ask for money." Daniel's throat tightened. Free, in a world where everything had a price. This woman had given his son something priceless. He ruffled Liam's hair, masking the storm of emotions brewing inside him. "Get in the car, kiddo. I'll be right there." As Olivia buckled Liam in, Daniel lingered, glancing back at the diner. Emma was back at the counter, wiping it down like nothing had happened. He climbed into the driver's seat and turned to Olivia. "Find out everything about her. Name, address, background, everything. I want to know by tomorrow." Back at his penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, Daniel couldn't sleep. The city lights glittered below, but his mind was stuck on Maplewood. Liam's words echoed in his head. "She gave me food for free." Daniel had seen kindness before, calculated, performative acts from people who knew who he was, who wanted something from him. But this was different. Emma hadn't known Liam was his son. She hadn't known anyone was watching. And yet, she'd acted like it was the most natural thing in the world. By morning, Olivia delivered a slim folder to his desk. Emma Carter, 28, lives in a one-bedroom on West Taylor Street. No family, no college degree. Been at Maplewood Diner for 5 years, barely scraping by. Rent's late half the time. That's all I could dig up. Daniel flipped through the pages, his jaw tightening. An ordinary life, stretched thin by circumstance. And yet, she gave what little she had. He closed the folder and stood. "I'm going to see her." Olivia blinked. "Sir, you mean now?" He nodded, grabbing his coat. Emma trudged home that night, her sneakers soaked from the rain. Her shift had been brutal, spilled coffee, a rude customer, and a measly $15 in tips, half of which she'd slipped to the homeless guy outside the diner. She fumbled with her keys, her apartment door creaking open to reveal a dim, sparsely furnished space. She was about to collapse onto her lumpy couch when a knock startled her. Peering through the peephole, she saw a tall man in a dark coat, his face shadowed but undeniably striking. Her stomach flipped. Nobody knocked on her door at this hour. Cautiously, she opened it a crack. "Can I help you?" "Emma Carter." His voice was low, commanding. "Oh yeah? Who are you?" "Daniel Hayes." He paused, letting the name hang there. When her puzzled expression didn't change, he added, "I need to talk to you. May I come in?" Emma hesitated, then stepped aside, her curiosity outweighing her weariness. Daniel stepped into the tiny living room, his presence overwhelming the space. He glanced around. No TV, a single chair, a stack of library books on the table. "You live simply," he said, almost to himself. "Yeah, well, I get by," Emma replied, crossing her arms. "What's this about?" Daniel turned to her, his gaze piercing. "Yesterday, you helped a boy in a wheelchair. Fed him, kept him warm. That boy was my son, Liam. I was parking the car when you took him in." Emma's eyes widened. "Liam's your kid?" "Oh, he was just sitting there, and I couldn't leave him out in the rain." "Is he okay?" "He's fine," Daniel said, his tone softening. "Better than fine, thanks to you. He told me what you did, how you didn't charge him, how you treated him like he mattered. I've been thinking about that all night." Emma shrugged, flustered. "It was nothing, just a sandwich." "It wasn't nothing to me," Daniel countered. He reached into his coat and pulled out an envelope, sliding it across the table. "I want you to work for me. Hayes Innovations. A real job. 6 figures, benefits, the works." Emma stared at the envelope, then at him, her mouth falling open. "You're kidding, right? I'm a waitress. I don't know anything about tech or whatever you do." "I don't need you to know tech," Daniel said firmly. "I need someone with a heart like yours. Someone who does the right thing when no one's looking. That's rarer than you think." She shook her head, backing away. "This is crazy." "Why me?" "Because you saw my son, not my money, not my name," Daniel said, his voice cracking slightly. "Do you know how few people do that? I've got a company full of sharks, Emma. I need someone I can trust." Emma's hands trembled as she opened the envelope. Inside was a contract, her name typed in bold. She looked up at him, tears pricking her eyes. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Daniel replied. "But there's one condition, never stop being kind, no matter what." Emma said yes, but her journey was just beginning. Her first day at Hayes Innovations was a whirlwind. Glass offices, endless meetings, and whispers about the waitress Daniel had hired out of nowhere. Some saw her as a charity case. Others suspected an ulterior motive. Then, a month in, the twist came. Olivia approached her desk one afternoon, her face pale. "Emma, we've got a problem. Someone's leaking company secrets, sensitive stuff." Daniel's furious, and he thinks it might be you. Emma's heart sank. "Me? I don't even understand half of this stuff." "Why would he? He doesn't want to believe it," Olivia said, lowering her voice. "But someone saw you talking to a guy from a rival firm at the diner last week. It's suspicious timing." Emma remembered a regular from Maplewood had stopped by, asking about her new job. She'd thought nothing of it. Now, it could cost her everything. Daniel called her into his office that evening, his expression unreadable. "Emma, I took a chance on you. Tell me I wasn't wrong." "I swear." "Daniel, I'd never betray you or Liam," she said, her voice shaking. "I don't know who's doing this, but it's not me." He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "I believe you, but we've got to find the real leak. Help me." Emma and Daniel teamed up, digging through records and tracing the leak. It led them to a senior executive, jealous of Emma's rise, who'd framed her to protect his own shady dealings. With evidence in hand, Daniel fired him on the spot, his trust in Emma cemented. Years later, Emma stood at Liam's high school graduation, now a VP at Hayes Innovations. Daniel, gray but proud, sat beside her. Liam, grinning from his wheelchair on stage, waved at the crowd. The diner days were a distant memory, but Emma never forgot her promise. She launched a foundation in Liam's name, feeding kids across Chicago, proving that kindness could build an empire of its own. Friends, life has a strange way of teaching us that kindness is never wasted. Emma Carter, a simple waitress with a heart of gold, showed us that even the smallest acts of compassion can create ripples that change lives forever. Her story reminds us that no matter how tough life gets, there's always room for kindness. And that kindness, no matter how small, can build bridges, heal wounds, and even transform empires. If this story touched your heart or gave you chills, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends and family. And if you want more powerful and emotional stories like this one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below about this story, and if you enjoyed this story, give it a big thumbs up. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that touch hearts and inspire change. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next story.